Hello, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique, bringing you your December energy forecast. So, of course, we're coming into December under Sagittarius energy in Sagittarius season, which is a sister fire sign to you. So you should be feeling a little bit of a pep in your step, a little bit of a passion, a little bit of a desire, a little bit of a spark reigniting within you. Of course, it may be hard to try and identify what that spark actually is, what that excitement actually is, because the Sagittarius energy is very scatterbrained, very unfocused. We just know that we want to move forward. We know we're standing in a new truth. We're standing in new light. We can feel a new cycle actually be initiated, and we will gain a lot of clarity on what that means for us as we move throughout the month of December. So on December 3rd, we have Neptune going direct at 22 degrees in Pisces. Neptune rules over our soul self, our soul contracts, our hidden realm of thoughts, emotions, and memories, rules over our creativity, rules over our dreams, and our spiritual life lessons. Over the last 5.5-6 months, there's been some tough love life lessons thrown at us. We haven't been able to run from it. We haven't been able to hide. We'd had to deal with life as it is and not the way we wished it would be. This has definitely disconnected us from our higher selves, from our dreams. We've literally just been trying to go with the flow and roll with the punches. But now that Neptune is direct, we are going to be feeling that shift in reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with a vision, with a dream, really seeing a new level of creativity flow through, and really seeing the amount of growth that we've been able to accomplish in healing some of the wounds that, of course, have been very, very triggered alive and well within us. Neptune has been in your 8th house of death, destruction, rebirth, creation, and of course transformation for quite some time. Having Neptune now go forward means that whatever it is that you initiated about 5.5-6 months ago is now becoming a solid foundation in your life, giving you the foundation, the platform, the strength in order for you to build upon. Now, Neptune moving forward means that you are going to be able to kind of see where the tough love life lessons over the past 5.5-6 months were divinely scripted in order to push you into a brand new chapter, a brand new environment, a brand new version of yourself. This particular energy has been very heavy, very weighted, but I think that things are going to get lighter. Things are going to feel a little bit better because now we have a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith, a little bit of our dreams actually be restored. On December 6th, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information and communication, moving out of Sag energy, moving into Capricorn energy. Now, this definitely does turn the volume a little bit down on the hype that we would have felt with the Mercury energy in Sag, giving us lots of ideas, giving us lots of sporadic thoughts. The Capricorn energy is an earth energy. It grounds us. We become a little bit serious, a little bit somber, because we have to do the nitty-gritty work on cleaning up the loose ends from the past, getting our to-do list together, and setting new goals for ourselves. Now, this is a no bullshit type of energy, and in conversation, we are only going to be speaking on things that actually matter. We are going to be creating a lot of order to a lot of the thoughts and emotions that have been very chaotic, and in any relationship dynamics that have popped off, this is where we essentially get to clean the air, clean the slate, and prepare, projecting our wants, needs, and desires onto the people that we actually want to take with us as we redefine what our goals and objectives for the long term actually are. Having Mercury move into Capricorn energy is going to be triggering and activating your 6th house. Your 6th house is your day-to-day life. It's the tasks, the chores of your day-to-day life. It's the health and wellness sector, how it is that you're taking care of yourself, how it is that you're making efforts to balance the mind, the body, the soul equation, where it is that you're being of service to other people, and realistically, your state of mental health. Now, the Debbie Downer, negative Nancy narrative does come in with this Capricorn energy. We do tend to pick ourselves apart and strip ourselves down, but that is only to prepare us to get very real with ourselves and to rebuild and restructure, reorganize our inner narrative and our perception, our perspective, and our understandings in a much stronger way. Having Mercury move into Capricorn is likely going to have you set on the long-term goals that you you need to kind of establish right now, and especially where taking care of yourself is concerned. You need to be a little bit more prepared to change up your daily routine, to allow more time and energy to balance the scales within, to adopt a new healthy, I'm going to say, diet or exercise routine, and really kind of focus on when your mental health is taking a dive, what it is that you can pour yourself into in order to bring yourself back up. Now, on December 7th, we have the full moon taking place in Gemini energy at 16 degrees. This is going to take us back to May and June of this year, when we started something new, when we put ourselves out there in a different way, when we were absolutely just opening up our minds to the possibilities, especially when it comes to throwing ourselves into new habits, new tasks, new chores. Now, the full moon is going to bring something full circle from that particular time frame and really shine a bright light on what this particular change has done for you. Being in Gemini energy, being represented by the twins, we're still kind of torn. We have two different choices, two different paths, two different directions that we were presented with back in that particular time frame of May and June of this year. And we're really starting to see whether or not this is working for us, if this is something we want to continue, or if it's something we have to cut the cord with and outgrow, basically. So what's interesting about this is that Gemini energy rules over information. It also rules over communication. And at 16 degrees, we will be bumping into Mars, who is currently retrograde in Gemini, who's bringing a little bit of heat, a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration to our tongues. Now, we have a lot to say. We have a brand new truth. We have a lot that we've been trying to keep within ourselves in fear of hurting other people's feelings. And for most of us, we haven't been able to articulate what it is that's been going on in our inner realm. This particular full moon is going to be highly triggersome, highly activated in order for us to reach a boiling point so that we can get out all of that resentment, all of that guilt, all of that anger, all of that frustration, to really speak our truth in a very aggressive way in order to advocate for ourselves and to clear the air. And sometimes in order to clear the air, we have to make things messy in order to realize what needs to be cleaned up first. Now, this is taking place in your 11th house, where connections, friendships are concerned, where a new community, a new network is concerned. It is also putting you in a position to recontemplate your vision, your dreams, your goals, your hopes, your wishes, and really kind of put into perspective whether or not what it is that you brought to life in May and June, what you are currently standing in the here and now, is still something that you feel aligned to continue to pursue. On the 9th, we have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, moving out of that Sagittarius energy and moving into Capricorn. So this, again, is going to be adding the emphasis to the 6th house. You have to have a new worth, a new value within yourself. You've gone through a very, I'm going to say, tough time over the past 6 months, especially over this past year. I'm going to take you back to this time last year when Venus first moved into Capricorn and actually retrograded in Capricorn energy. It was a little bit of a deep, dark depression for us in order to push us into our power. We came into 2022 with a little bit, I'm going to say, of an empowerment story. We see new worth, new value within ourselves. We've seen a new worth and a new value with the people that we chose to share time and space and energy with. And we definitely were more focused on our resources, on our finances, and building a little bit more of a safe, secure, stable type of foundation in our lives so that we wouldn't feel like we were constantly flying by the seat of our pants. So having this energy kind of put a new focus on the 6th house, you do have to understand that you are worth the time, the energy, the effort that you pour into yourself, that your health and your wellness is super important, that your mental health is uber important, and that constantly showing up and giving your power and energy away to other people and being service to other people first and foremost is depleting you of your life force energy. On the 20th, we have Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, and blessings, moving back into Aries energy. I want to take you back to May 10th, when Jupiter first moved into Aries, when we tried to bring a new opportunity to life, when we tried to reinvent ourselves, when we put ourselves out in the world in a new way in order to push the boundaries of our comfort zone. Now, I'm not saying that we failed miserably. However, Jupiter only had a very short amount of time in in this Aries energy before going retrograde. Of course, he had to go retrograde. He went all the way back to the beginning degrees of Aries, and then he actually slipped back into Pisces energy, which was a little bit of a reminder of the pain and the struggle and the trauma and the amount of healing that we had to do over the course of 2021, of course, entering us into 2022. Now, Jupiter re-entering into Aries energy is going to be highlighting your ninth house. Your ninth house is where it is that you align with your higher self, where you start to see the bigger, broader picture, where it is that you start to understand the spiritual life lessons that you had to go through and how they were divinely scripted to push you into this particular position, because you need to be who it is that you currently are right now in order to be in alignment with the path, the direction, the mission, the purpose that your soul is about to take as we move into 2023. So Jupiter moving into Aries energy again is a fire energy. So this is going to work well for you. You're going to see a huge amount of growth. You're going to see your mind and your heart open up to new possibilities moving into the brand new year. You definitely have a new belief within yourself. You trust yourself a little bit more. You can see your strength a little bit more. And there is this element where you have become a different version of yourself. This Aries energy is constantly pushing us to re-identify who it is that we are, rebrand ourselves, so to speak, because of some of the tough love life lessons that you have experienced since May. You definitely have a different energy signature that you will be using to your advantage as we move into 2023 and start making things happen. The very next day, on the 21st, we have the sun moving out of Sag energy, moving into Capricorn energy, also triggering the winter solstice. So a couple of things here to my Leo friends. The sun is your ruler, and the sun is not in its strongest point in Capricorn energy. It's losing strength. Many of my Leo friends creep into a depression phase around this particular time in the calendar because the sun is the life force energy that you rely upon, and of course, it is not at its greatest strength. Having the sun move into Capricorn energy is an earth energy. It's low, it's slow. We are focused on the long term. It is the manifesting energy. We have to get down to the nitty gritty. We have to get serious and somber to really examine what it is that we need to cut ties with, what it is that we need to clean the slate about, and what it is that we need to bring to life in our realm in moving forward. Now, this is a time where we become a little bit introverted, a little bit of a Debbie Downer, a little bit of a negative Nancy, in order for us to examine what needs to stay and what needs to go. Again, this Capricorn energy is shining a bright light on your sixth house. Your day-to-day life needs a better routine. You need a little bit more discipline, a little bit more structure. You need a little bit more focus on how it is that you can pour your time, your energy, your love, your attention into bettering yourself. You need healthy habits. You need a little bit more tender, loving care when it comes to the mind, the body, the soul equation. You need to pull back on giving your best self to other people and push giving that energy to yourself first and foremost. Your mental health is going to be affected here in Capricorn season, and diving into healthy routines and spiritual practices is definitely going to help lessen the burden of some of the weight that you feel in your heart space and in your head space as we move through these darker months. On the 23rd, we have the new moon in Capricorn taking place at 1 degree, also in your sixth house. This is at a 1 degree. This is the second moon event that we have at 1 degree, which suggests that we are setting the tone on what it is that we want to experience for the next 2 years. You should be focused on what it is that you need to bring to life in your day-to-day life, in your routines, healthy habits, taking care of yourself, pushing the boundaries of, saying no to other people in order to say yes to yourself. This is a restructuring, a reorganization of you putting yourself at the top of the list, making sure that your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional and mental health, your physical health are at the top of the list of things to do. Now, also on the 23rd, we have Chiron, the wounded healer, going direct in Aries energy. This also is the ninth house for you. This is, again, a realization on the tough love life lessons that you had to go through, the wounds that needed to be exposed in order for you to see where it is that you could step into a new place of power, a new strength, a new version of yourself, and actually grow through what it is that you had to go through. The ninth house is higher learning, higher education, and you've definitely been put in some situations over the last 6 months to realize where it is that you needed to tap into your higher self to gain a little bit of a bigger, broader perspective of your long-term goals and make some daily sacrifices in the here and now for the long-term rewards that you're absolutely focused on bringing to life. Having Chiron go direct means we are kind of moving forward with, I'm going to say, healed versions of ourselves. But in that process, we will be illuminated to other topics and themes that maybe need our attention now more than ever. This is a great time for you to kind of step away from the social scene. This is a good time for you to be very reflective, very nostalgic on the journey that has gotten you here, the pain and the trauma that has essentially showed you how strong you are, and build that into a new version of yourself where boldness and bravery and courage and strength are the qualities and characteristics that you will be paving the road of 2023 with. The last thing that we have going on is December 29th. We have Mercury going retrograde in Capricorn energy. So, of course, this is also going to be the sixth house for you. You will likely see some things fall apart in your day-to-day routine. You will likely see a lot of revision, a lot of reflection needed over this past year, and where it is that your health has asked for your attention repeatedly, and where it is that maybe you have continuously pushed that onto the back burner. Again, there is this element with my Leo friends that you want to show up. You don't want to let anybody down. But in doing so, you're giving your power away to other people, and then you're depleting your life force energy within yourself. This means, and especially at this time, this point in the calendar, that you may fall sick. Not only mentally, not only spiritually, not only emotionally, but physically. And take every hint, every cue from your physical body on where it is that you've been giving too much of yourself out in the world to other people and not reserving enough energy and life force for yourself. You need to restructure how it is that you're taking care of yourself, how it is that you prioritize yourself, especially when your mental health is being tested. So a couple of messages that I'd like for you to focus on as you move throughout the month. This is about you finding a safe and stable place within yourself, within your environment once again. A lot of my Leo friends push themselves out of their comfort zone, out of necessity in the spring, where they had to go out in the world, they had to enter into new territory in order to rebuild and reorganize, restructure their physical realms, mostly having a lot to do with the safety and security surrounding their finances. I feel like many of my Leo friends have found themselves in a safer, more secure place, financially speaking, but at the same time, becoming very bored with what it is that you are doing. This is a time, especially with Neptune going direct, to redefine what excites you, where your passions, where your desires are, where your dreams are, and really tap into a new level of creativity in order to spice things up and keep things interesting for you so that you don't become bored, stagnant, and of course sick because of it. Now, mentally, emotionally, there is going to be a huge conflict between the heart and the head. It does feel like my Leo friends are finding themselves in a deep winter depression already. Again, the sun being your ruler, anytime that the sun is not in strength, you tend to dwindle with the sun's strength as well. So this is going to create a little bit of more of a focus on your emotional and mental health. Again, focusing in on creating new practices for you. Mind, body, and soul is going to do a whole hell of a lot of wonder for you, especially moving into 2023, where we have a different lesson, a different path, a different direction that we are going to need our life force energy in order to pursue. Believe it or not, you are on the right path. The sacrifices that you've been able to make over this past year, the reorganization that you were forced into making this year has put you on a stable footing as of here and now in order for you to be on the right path in moving forward for 2023. I would say that middle of the month is going to be very, very important for you, feeling that shift of the sun moving out of that Sag energy, a sister fire sign to you, into that Capricorn energy is definitely going to hit you like a ton of bricks. My hope is that you have a heads up, that you're able to prepare for that, and that you're able to start putting into play some practices in your day-to-day life that will give you an outlet to balance the mind, the body, and the soul. So Leo, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, for all the love and support that you've shown my way over the course of this year. I hope you have a beautiful December, a beautiful and happy holiday season, no matter how you choose to celebrate it, and that you really do pour the time and the energy into yourself to make sure that you are at your strongest point of self as we usher in a brand new year. I'm sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon.